All right, so we just did the notes for inequality. Now we're going to work through some of the homework. You can see right here that we have a negative 11 times b. So I'm going to divide both sides by negative 11. I'm going to show my work. But if you remember from our notes, we said right here, if I multiply or divide by a negative, I must switch the direction. So instead of that being greater than or equal to, we're going to say less than or equal to, and a negative divided by a negative is a positive 6. Because it's equal to, we're going to have a closed circle at 6. And because it's less than, we're going to go to the left. The next one we have is b minus 14. So we're going to add 14 to both sides. So b is less than 6. So this time, because there's not an equal sign, 6 is going to have an open circle. And it still says less than, so we're going to go off to the left. Maybe you try number 5 and 7. Pause the video and try it yourself. Okay, looking at number 5, it says a minus 5. We're going to add 5. So a is greater than negative 1. There's no equal sign, so you should have had an open circle at negative 1, and because it's greater, we're going to go off to the right. And our last one right here, it says 36 is less than or equal to a plus 20, so I'm going to subtract 20. And I'm going to have 16 is less than or equal to a. Here's a problem. Do you remember when I said in the notes that your letter has to be on the left-hand side? So I have to reverse this whole thing. If 16 is less than or equal to a, then a must be greater than or equal to 16. You have to do that because now it's going to tell me it's equal, so that's a closed circle. And because it's greater than, I'm going to go off to the right. All right, going on to the assignment on the back. This is 2-step. So again, we want to do PEMDAS in reverse. So we're going to look for an add and subtract first. My lights just went out in my classroom. I guess I didn't move enough. I'm so sorry. So I think you can still see. We have add and subtract. This has it says add a negative 7. The opposite of a negative 7 is a positive 7. So negative 10 plus 7 is a negative 3, is greater than or equal to v over 5. And then because it says v divided by 5, we can solve by saying times 5. So 5 times negative 3 is negative 15, is greater than or equal to v. Because we're not graphing on the back, you don't have to switch it, but you can if you want to just keep in practice. The next one, it says 2v minus 5, so I'm going to add 5 to both sides. So 2v is less than negative 10, and then I'm going to divide both sides by 2. And so v is less than negative 5. Notice that I did not divide by a negative, so I'm not switching the inequality sign. We talked about this one in class, and I'm going to say that most students would prefer to distribute right here. So we're going to have a negative 18 and a negative 21m is less than a negative 186. So this is multiplied. So I have a negative 18 I'm trying to get rid of, so I will do add 18. So I have a negative 21m is less than negative 168. And then right here I'm going to divide by a negative 21. That's when I'm going to pull out my green marker and say, remember, when we divide or multiply by a negative, we have to switch the direction. So instead of less than, we're going to have greater than 8. Ooh, number 15, it starts getting a lot more difficult. So first of all, I want to combine like terms. So I've got this negative 3 minus 2m, that's fine. But right here, do you see I have a negative m plus 2m? So basically that's saying negative 1m plus 2m's, and negative 1 plus 2 is 1 m. So I can combine like terms, combine whenever they're on the same side of the inequality. But now that I'm trying to move this across the inequality, I have to solve. So I'm actually going to add 2m to get my variables together. So now I have a negative 3 is greater than or equal to 1 plus 2 is 3m. And now I want to get m by itself, so I'm going to divide both sides by 3. And so negative 1 is greater than or equal to m, or m is less than or equal to negative 1. Maybe some of you are like, Miss Cooper, you had a negative number. Why didn't you switch the inequality sign? Because what I divided by was positive. Yes, the answer is negative, but not what I divided by. All right, let's look at number 17. Okay, we have another distribution right here, so I'm just going to rewrite this. Negative 33 minus 5x is less than or equal to, and I'm going to distribute. Negative 4 times 6 is negative 24, and negative 4 times 2x is negative 8x. You can see I have an x on the left-hand side and an x on the right-hand side. We always want to get those together first, and because I'm going across the inequality, if that's a negative 8x, I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to add 8x. So I have a negative 33 plus 3x is less than or equal to negative 24. Then I'm going to add this 33 away from my x, trying to isolate the variable. So I'm going to have, can I just do it over here, please? I'm going to have 3x is less than or equal to negative 24 plus 33 is 9. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 3. And so x is less than or equal to 3. Maybe you take a moment to try number 19 on your own. Go ahead and pause it. So again, we're going to distribute. So we have 3 times k is 3k. 3 times negative 6 is negative 18. And then we have this minus 3k is less than or equal to 12 plus 6k. Okay, let's talk about this real quick. These two k's are on the same side of the inequality. Here's the inequality right here. So they're on the same side, so I'm just going to combine. So 3k minus 3k, that cancels out. So now I'm just down to negative 18 is less than or equal to 12 plus 6k. I'm going to solve by getting away, add or subtract first. So that's plus 12, so I'm going to subtract 12, giving me negative 30 is less than or equal to 6k. And then I'm going to divide by 6. Again, that 6 is positive, so I don't have to switch the inequality. So now I have negative 5 is less than or equal to k, or k is greater than or equal to negative 5. Thanks so much.